What's going on, guys? This is Jay, and today is Sunday, June 28th of 2020, and we have some garden stuff going on today. Right now we're taking that drive through the beautiful fields of Landgraf, McDowell County, West Virginia, and we're going to work in the garden today, which is pretty awesome, pretty excited, always excited. We got some weeds that we need to pull, and we've got some plants that we need to plant, so we're going to jump into doing a little bit of all that stuff today. Not sure exactly what all we're going to get into at this point, but there is a list of tasks that need to be done, and it's going to start out with checking these plants for any kind of pests. We've been noticing some pests in here, so we're going to jump in here and check out what's going on and see what we can do to manage some of this. We've got some weeds coming through. We're going to have to get in here in the next couple days and do a little bit of maintenance in this block. We're in block 5 with the cucumbers. It's a nice cool day today. We're probably riding in the mid 70s. There is a little bit of showers going on right now, just a slight mist coming through. The plants love it. It's a perfect time to be doing transplanting and things like that. And one thing that I have noticed in here is the cucumber beetles. There are a couple different species of cucumber beetles. Some of them have stripes and some of them have spots. There are some that are red with black stripes, and then there are some that are yellow with black stripes. So that's pretty cool. So check it out, guys. Today is Sunday, June 28th. We're down here in the field today, and it's been raining all day, which is pretty awesome because it makes great weather for transplants. And these are all those baby kales that we direct seeded, and I will put a link to the video where we direct seeded these into the soil a couple weeks ago. At the top right hand side of the screen, and we're going to take some of these and put these out into the field with the rest of the kale plants. So let's go ahead and grab a clump of them. Just going to dig down in there where they're at, and we're going to take a whole clump of them with us, just like this. You want to bend that down there?
Just like that is what he means. Just like that.
And we're going to take these guys down the field and transplant. So keep rocking it with us. So now that we have our seeded kale plants, we're going to go down the field and put them into the cardboard that I laid out in one of the previous videos. Just gonna stuff them down in the holes here and get it going. That way we can get some more kale growing in here, which is pretty cool. I tried to transplant collards in here. It didn't work out so well. It's a little bit too hot. There's always a proper time for things, but we're just jamming down through here and putting in these baby kales. And Felicia's laying some cardboard along the middle row in between the collards, kale, and the first row of Brussels sprouts. And the kale, we're planting the kale about 1.5 feet apart. That's about all they need to grow up into full plants. We're going to harvest the lower leaves first to keep them growing big and strong, and it's some of the most delicious and nutritious greens, in my opinion. Some of my favorite greens to eat, kale greens, also collard greens, but they're both in this row here. We have kale and collards in this row, which is pretty awesome. We're not going to harvest some of the greens until after the first frost of the year. The first fall frost comes, some of the leaves get sweeter after the frost hits because the plants go into survival mode and they try to push up all the liquid from the roots into the leaves, and it brings the sweetness of all those carbohydrates that's stored throughout the plant into the leaves. So that's pretty awesome. And the carbohydrates, when they flush the leaves, it protects the leaves from freezing in the winter so they don't die back, and it protects the roots in the winter because they're not filled with water, and water expands when it freezes. So it kind of makes sense. It's pretty awesome. A little fact, all of your brassicas will do this behavior. All plants in general kind of do this behavior. That's kind of how you get your maple syrup from maple trees. When it's maple syrup season, the plants will flush all of the water from the roots to keep them from freezing up into the tree, and that's when you'll get a heavy drip of maple syrup, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to continue laying cardboard until we finish this row out, and then it's going to be time to switch tasks. That was one of the main goals for today, is to finish out this row and to put in these greens. So I'm just going to chill out and keep rocking it with me, and I'm going to let me talk on the real live feed.
So check it out, guys. We're in the brassica patch. We just put in 100 more feet of collards and kale. I transplanted some more collards out that I got from Sky. The first set that I transplanted out, I did 50 feet of collards. I transplanted out a couple days ago, and collards didn't do so well. I transplanted them out. It was hot out. It's a little bit dry in the ground. Only 2 of them survived out of the 25 that I put in. So we went back in and put new ones in. That's a lesson learned. So if any of you guys out there will see the work that I put in on putting the collards in, you'll see why it's important to do it at the right time. It's a lesson learned for me, and hopefully it's a lesson learned for anybody that's watching. That way you don't have to make the mistake that I did. They always say that a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So learn from my mistake, because I sure did. But it's raining today. We got a nice drizzle coming down right now. Felicia's finishing out the middle row of cardboard right now. I'm going to move over into the cucumbers. They need a little bit of attention. We're going to get in here in the next couple days and bring the weed eater in and chop up some of this ground growth that we have going on. So we're out here in the squash patch, and I have identified 3 different species of beetles that we need to handle in here. There's Mexican bean beetles, there is cucumber beetles, and there's another kind of beetle I'm not sure the name of, but I will know when I get home. It kind of looks like a stink bug. It's brown in coloration.
Squash beetle.
Brown to a orangish brown color. So now we have identified it, we know how to handle it, but this rain has been doing wonders for this patch of melons and squashes and cucumbers. I'm going to take you guys down through here, and I'm going to let you see what has me so excited. Look at this right here. That's a baby squash. That's a baby crookneck squash right there. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, we're going to get in here and we're going to wipe out all of this waterweed and this mugwort. There's a couple other plants that I've identified in here. There's some milkweed there. Let's see, what else can we see here? There's a couple different types of flowers. Look at this, our pumpkins are producing flowers right now. I believe that they're all male flowers at this point, but that's okay. It's early in the season. And we're going to get in here and handle some of these. I've got some other products on the way. I've ordered some BT. It's an organic bacteria that you put on plants. And I've ordered some organic neem oil. It's all OMRI approved organic stuff. We're going to treat everything with this stuff and see how it treats us. I haven't found any more caterpillars since we did our last treatment, which is pretty awesome. But right now I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to trellis some of these cucumbers up this fence. So let's get to that.
So what we're doing to trellis these cucumbers, we're not tying them or anything, we're just weaving them through the fence wire as the vines grow, and then the vines kind of seat themselves in there. They send out these little runners that wrap around the wire to help hold themselves on, and that's pretty awesome. We're starting to see lots of little cucumbers on here, which means that lots of cucumbers are going to be ripe at the same time. There's probably about 30 or 40 tiny cucumbers down this entire row for one of the first pickings, which means that in one day's time we're going to be picking 30 or 40 cucumbers at one time, because that's how it works.
So guys, we just went through and we trellised the cucumbers up. We squashed some cucumber beetles. We squashed some Mexican bean beetles. And we collected some other beetles. That way we can identify exactly what species that is. And now we're going to attempt to put in a few tomato stakes in these two other rows of tomatoes. Let me take you over here and show you the sunflowers real quick and the prolific squash down here in the front of these. And the sunflowers, they have taken off. We're going to have to get in here and heavily weed this area of that weed eater here soon. Maybe tomorrow, it depends on the rain. But we're definitely going to do some transplanting tomorrow. Look at those sunflowers. They're already about 8 inches tall. Some of them are a little taller. Our other sunflowers are coming up. I don't know if you can see, but right in front of me is that 104-foot row of prolific squash. So it's exciting, very, very exciting. Looking up through here, seeing this field full of food. And oh yeah, we got a truck. We got a 2003 Chevy Silverado. Check that guy out. The last time that we were down here on Tuesday in our car, was Monday in our car, the catalytic converter went out on the car, so I'm going to have to replace the catalytic converter. I found out that it has 2 catalytic converters, so we're going to replace the exhaust system on the car, but we needed a truck in the meantime. And the past 2 days that we come to this field, we did quite a bit of walking, so no more walk. Now we got the truck and we can do a lot more work. Got tiller working. Me and Sky worked on the tiller the last time that we did some work in here. I didn't do anything yesterday in the garden. Now we're going to go in and put some tomato stakes up in this second area of tomatoes. These are the German Johnson and Mr. Stripey tomatoes that come from Jenny Totten. So it's time to put some tomato stakes in here so we can start putting trellis up. So let's get at that. First, I'm going to have a quick little snack break, a little snacky snack. Have a cashew butter and grape jelly sandwich on some flatbread, and it's going to be good. You can check that out too.
So now it's time for that snack break. I'm just chilling right here in front of the second plot of tomatoes, trying to assess the situation. Previously, when putting in tomato stakes, I would put in 1 row at a time. Today we're going to attempt to do 2 rows, both at the same time. I'm just going to move from 1 row to the next and just keep moving down the line until we get to the end of both rows. There goes the first stake in row 1 and the first stake in row 2. So this is what we're going to do until we get to the end of this 100-foot block. We've decided to space out our stakes a little bit further apart, and Felicia took a slow motion video so you can see that shock wave when that thing comes down, because there's a lot of force coming down on this pole driver, a lot of force that goes through my entire body when putting these things into the ground. It's pretty awesome. This thing makes it a world of difference easier to put these in, because previously throughout my life I've always put these in with a hammer or a sledgehammer or some kind of big hammer, and this thing really makes the difference. I've put in a little over 60 of these so far this year throughout the garden in the tomatoes and the cucumber area, and we go down this row and do it. We spaced out these stakes 2 more feet apart, so these stakes are 12 feet apart instead of 10 feet apart, and that's going to give us the opportunity to save a few stakes and to make it a little bit further, because we have some more stuff that we want to put in. And I'm thinking that the more rows that I have with stakes, the more stuff that I can trellis. I didn't put in a lot of things that do trellis, like peas or things like that, but we can get 2 crops of peas in here, hopefully. That's what we're going to attempt for a fall crop and the first spring crop. If the tomatoes are finished, we're going to try to go in and put peas in here, and what that is going to do is give us a nitrogen fixing crop. It's going to put nitrogen back into this soil, so we won't have to switch out the stakes. We won't have to remove the stakes to put that crop in. We can just go right in between the stakes where it's already trellised and put those peas in, and they can grow up the exact same trellis as the tomatoes. And next year, when it's time to put tomatoes in, they will have nitrogen already readily available in the soil that was created by the peas, nitrogen fixing peas. So we will have had 2 crop rotations after this one before this one comes back into play next year. So that's pretty cool, and I'm excited about all of it. We didn't have enough peas to put out this year, or didn't have a trellis system in place in time to grow peas. What I've done at home is put a few peas in at home to make seed. So we will have some seed peas coming in. We've been harvesting peas at home from our personal garden all year. We've probably harvested 5 times since the last time that I talked anything about the peas, and it's pretty exciting to grow that many peas, because we will have a little bit over 900 feet of trellis, and I don't know how peas would do in a market type setting or that type of thing, but they are like garden candy, and we will prepare them here at home. So now what we're doing, we're going through and adding the second tier of tomato trellis to the first row of tomatoes. So this is the first set of tomatoes that we put in the year, and they are already tall enough to go in and put the second set of trellis. I will add a video at the top right hand of the screen of when we first come in and put the first tier of tomato trellis and how we done that. I had Sky help me with that, and he taught me a more efficient way, which I've used ever since then on all of these tomatoes. And it's starting to get a little bit dark on us, so the video is not going to last too much longer, but you can watch that nighttime fade or daytime fade into nighttime. We were here probably for about 4 hours on this day. We waited till the evening to come down, had some stuff to do at home, and yeah, we rocking it, and y'all rocking it with us. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was informational. I hope it was helpful. I hope it helped you identify some of those pests in your garden and how we're going to treat them. Maybe you can treat yours like that. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you really liked it, give it a subscribe for more videos. You can check us out. Hit that notification bell for updates on future videos. And until next time, can you dig it?